Welcome to Midlife Schmidlife, the online community for listeners who want to redefine the middle years and recreate their lives lived to the fullest. Join our host, Liz Applegate, as she interviews guests over the age of 40 who are turning their maybe somedays into today and going after their dreams. Let's get the party started.
Hey, Schmidlifers. Welcome back to the Midlife Schmidlife podcast. I'm your host, Liz Applegate, and I am so glad that you are joining me today. Oh, what a crazy-ass time. I think I've said that on every single episode of this latest series now more than ever. And this episode is no different. This episode actually is with a very good friend of mine and returning guest, Staci Witten, and we are going to be talking about what you need to know about your job search right now. We originally had recorded this in late May of 2020, and because of the release date and then with the death of George Floyd, we both recognized that we should probably wait on releasing it. And I actually am really glad that we did for many reasons, not just because it was the right thing to do with the messages that we needed to hear and we needed to learn, but also because it is now July 2020 as I am publishing this podcast episode, and I am actually seeing more fallout from the results of COVID-19 with friends and family losing jobs. I'm also seeing friends of mine who are teachers and parents of children who are now wrestling with what back to school is going to look like. I've seen some really questioning what their career choices are and ways that they can navigate this time and think about looking for a new job. So I know that many of you are women who are building businesses, but I also know that a lot of you are building businesses on the side and working a 9-to-5. And I also have listeners who are not interested in building a business. And so I was really excited that Staci was willing to jump on and have this conversation. As you can tell in the beginning, we have a long history together. We have actually been called Thelma and Louise at times. And so we chat about wearing hats in the 80s and now. And so I left that part in just because I felt like it was light and fun. And I feel like now more than ever, we could use some light and fun. So I hope that you will enjoy this episode, sit back and listen. And Staci has a download that you can actually click on the link in the description of this podcast episode or go over to the show notes. And she has a checklist that will help you on your job search journey. I also wanted to let you know that this will kind of piggybacking off this conversation that I have with Staci, I realized that I could offer some insights on what it takes to start a business. I actually started my business in late 2013 and was able to leave my full-time job in 2015, January of 2015. So actually it was a bit less than 18 months. And so I feel like I have a lot that I can share. And so after we listen to this part of now more than ever, I think that I'm going to dedicate probably the next 3 or 4 episodes into what it takes to starting your business. So if you've ever had any dreams of starting a business and you're just not sure what to do next, or if you have anything to offer, I hope that you will tune in and listen. These will be solo casts, and I also have a couple guests that I'm thinking of bringing on too, so that we can talk about what that actually looks like as you're a parent, as you are managing your chronic disease, just definite messages that I feel would be very helpful for you if you are thinking about starting your own business. So before we go any further, please sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and listen in to this conversation with Staci. All right. It looks like we're streaming live. Yay.
I see it. It's live.
Yay. Okay,
Woo-hoo.
awesome. I was going to say, do you see it? Because I always like to double check and make sure we're in the right place.
Yeah, I see it.
Yay. Here we
Or I
are.
see it.
It's working.
I
Yeah.
see Zoom says we're live. I don't have Facebook pulled up because I was afraid
Oh,
of
okay.
anything.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking at our group right now, and it looks like we're live in there. So I'm
Awesome.
going to just type a little comment in here so that it's kind of weird as you're going through Zoom, just a little tech thing. If you've never used Zoom to go live, you can't see the comments. So you have to look at the group, and then to do that, you have to actually put some, it's crazy, but we're making it work.
Then you got that
Hey,
whole delay
Staci.
thing. Hi.
Oh, I know. I know. I was just commenting before we went live of how adorable you look with your hat and your so professional background. And oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Well, thank you. And like I said, I probably 3 months ago wouldn't be wearing a hat in an interview situation or any business situation for that matter.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I'll share this with your audience. Our house is on the market. So behind me, I have a very bare, dull white wall. And so I think I need the background.
It's awesome. So you created that background. So yeah, all these tech things. Look at all these things that, that we are teaching people.
Right.
It looks
That's
awesome.
right.
So we were talking before we went live about how we used to wear hats in the 80s. And, I don't know, I just felt like you had to have this certain sense of confidence to wear a hat. And it's been a long time since I have felt like I've had that, which cracks me up. I mean, I have a podcast, for goodness sakes, have my own business. I did not have that in the 80s.
Exactly.
So,
I want to see you in a hat.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
I remember wearing in my high school, we both grew up in the 80s. So in my senior photo, in my senior portrait, one of them has me in a hat. And then for, you grew up in Florida, but I grew up here in Texas, and homecoming was a big deal. Not as much as it is today, but in the 80s, it was a pretty big deal. Big hair and big mom still. And so I wore a hat to either 2 or 3 of my homecomings out of 4 years. And it was just the thing I did. And it was so much fun.
I know. And
anyway.
it kind of was like a signature thing, because people would say to me, I wish I could wear a hat, and I had I think of the hats I got rid of, and it makes me want to cry right now, honestly, because I had this beautiful red hat with this black, it was amazing. So yeah, I don't even want to cry thinking about that, but
you can find like it now.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can. I did get a beret. I got a beret, so maybe I'll start with
that'd be fun.
We'll see. All right. So before we go any further, you can tell Staci and I have known one another for a long time.
Yeah.
Like 20 plus years. That's crazy. That's just crazy to me.
You have to think about the age of our kids, and we'll figure out the number of years.
Exactly. Because we raised our children together, and we actually met, and I'd have to think about how old the kids were, but we met because we were running Vacation Bible School at the church, which in a lot of ways it seems like it was yesterday, and in some ways it seems like it was lifetimes ago. So it's just kind of funny. So yeah. So this is my friend Staci Witten, and I want you to introduce yourself because I know you, but we're just carrying on. And so I want to invite everybody in so everyone else knows you.
Sure. Well, I'm excited to be here, and thank you for asking me onto your podcast, because you and I, people have called us Thelma and Louise, and so we like to have fun together. And you never know what's going to happen. Nope. And we're live, so it'd make it even more fun.
Right.
but basically, like I said, I'm Staci Witten, and I am an accredited coach that specializes in career leadership and business. And I help professionals figure out what their strengths and their gifts are and how to best apply those in the world. And I've helped hundreds of professionals in their job searches, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And I've basically have helped them figure out what that next step is for them and then how to market themselves in this arena. And, which is a whole subject in itself.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But basically, I help professionals excel either in career and business, and I love what I do. So I'm excited to be here and talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was excited too that you said yes. And you've actually, so those of you who don't know, we are streaming this live right now into my Facebook group, but then I take this and I also share it on the podcast. So, and you were actually on the podcast a couple years ago when it was brand new. So it's nice to have you back. I think we talked about work-life balance back then. So
we did. We did.
That would be an interesting discussion for now, but yeah, I think I really wanted to talk to you about job search now because of the place where we are. So as we are recording this, it is, oh crap, I forgot to look at what date it is because I can't keep it straight, but it's May 21st. Is that right?
Yes, score.
Yes, 21st. Well, I kept getting it wrong in the invitation. So May 21st, 2020, we are, depending on who you talk to, we're either in the middle of a global pandemic or somewhere along the spectrum of a global. Yeah, we're not quite sure. Yeah.
Not at the top yet.
No, we're not. So we have been sheltering in place for a while. Every day, it seems like the news changes, the outlook changes. It's just kind of an unsettling time. And so I really wanted, there's been a lot of furloughs, a lot of layoffs, a lot of changes, a lot of uncertainty. And so I was really happy that you wanted to jump on and talk about this. And before we jump into that, though, I've been checking in with my guests, and I just want to see how you are doing during this crazy ass time. So.
I know, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for asking. I like you, I've worked at home for years, so that piece of it didn't really affect me. It did affect, and I am an empty nester. My daughter does not live with us anymore. She's on her own. So I have a strong appreciation for those parents that are juggling work and, work with they're not used to working at home, plus education for their kids and being in the middle of a pandemic and probably managing their parents and other things that are happening. But I feel that my husband and I have been very blessed. As you know, my husband is immunocompromised, so we have to take extra precaution. And we do take wearing a mask seriously. We are careful who comes in our house and that type of thing. A wrench that was thrown into it for us is we decided to put our house on the market in the middle of a pandemic.
Well, homes are selling. I mean, it's crazy, but it is happening. Yeah.
And we have the ideal situation. My mother-in-law built a house on our property, as you know, and years ago. And so we have the ideal situation for somebody that needs the solution. Right. If they find that closeness is too much, they have this extra guest house that they can go into or put their in-laws in there or whatever. But anyway, that's, I know. So we have been very fortunate. So I think I have my moments like, I want to see my daughter. I want to hug my daughter. I want to be able to just be with friends, and be able to have a party or just have a gathering. And we have to do that differently now. And so that's what I miss more than anything. I get chills kind of thinking about it because I think that's what I've missed. And I've missed that human connection, face to face type human connection. Zoom's great. And like you, I've been using Zoom for years.
Right.
So that's nothing new. But what was the term I heard once? Zoom fatigue, like adrenal fatigue, but you're just wiped out because of too many Zoom calls. So
yeah, that is an interesting thing I've noticed too. And I think a lot of it is because now we have to plan our connections, right? Like we've met for bring your own breakfast on a Saturday morning. There's a group of us that meets for breakfast. You know, we've done a happy hour. We've done all these things, but it's so planned and structure. There's a part of that. And I think that's kind of fatiguing in a way. So,
it is.
Yeah.
And you have to plan so you don't have too many of those at once because you don't enjoy them if you have too many back to back and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it was Monday, Tuesday. No, it was my days. Yesterday. It was yesterday. I had 3 Zoom calls back to back to back. And there was no way that I could, I wasn't in control of them and I had to do it because of clients and business meetings. So I just had to go with it. But then the third one I got on, it was Tuesday. It wasn't yesterday. The third one I got on, I was able to laugh it out with the people that I was on there with. And they knew they were coaches and they knew exactly what I was going through.
Exactly. So. Yeah. I think we definitely understand, that more than maybe other people who haven't experienced it. So
exactly.
Yeah. So, so are you feeling, I'm curious, are you feeling a difference? Because I know that I am, I know that when we first started this shelter in place, and actually for you and I both, because my oldest son lives in Seattle, we actually started sheltering in place way before the state recommended it. And I know that you guys did too. So I know that when all of that started, I had a certain feeling, but for me personally, I feel like something about last week or the week before, within the last couple of weeks, I have just felt this shift of my own energy recognition. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm wondering if you're feeling that too. It's almost kind of like, all right, the newness of this is over. It's for me, it's been kind of like, well, I can continue doing what I was doing, which was kind of not knowing what to do and being kind of paused, but I'm feeling a definite more energy around, okay, it's time to make a decision. It's time to step it up. It's time to show up. And I'm wondering if you're feeling that as well.
Actually, there has been a shift probably in the last 10 days. And I think part of it is accepting this isn't going away. And I have control over how I'm going to handle that. And I think that I had to figure out, okay, what do I want it to look like 6 months from now? How do I want to be able to reflect back on this time? And that was kind of a wake-up call for me. And because honestly, I got kind of tired of hearing about the different changes people were making in their lives, because I felt inadequate about that, because I wasn't making some big change in my life, because nothing's really changed for me. I'm still working at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think there was a shift though. I do.
Yeah. I remember when all this started, there was this big jump on it. And I have to say, I think that my kind of Pollyanna look of it was like, yeah, this is a great time to make all these positive changes in your life. We can work out every day. We can eat, healthy. We can clean our houses. We can do all this, organize. And like there was a part of my brain that was like, yes. And then there was a realistic part of my brain that was like, that shit ain't happening. None of that.
And if you were like me, I just didn't feel like it.
Right.
I was listening to my body and I just didn't feel like it.
Right. And I think, honoring that is so important. But there was almost this shaming too. Like you could feel the shaming of like, well, why aren't you doing this 7-day boot camp with us? And it's just kind of like, no, I wouldn't have been doing that before. Why would I think I wanted to do that now? So
exactly.
But I feel like that's kind of like all of that. It's just so funny, like all that emotion and all that whatever was going on. And like you said, I think it really is just kind of accepting, okay, we are where we are now. And it's such a better energy. It's such a better feeling.
Yeah. And I think there's still going to be up and downs, and I think that's okay. You just have to, if you need a good cry, you need a good cry.
Definitely.
If you need to go out and yell, then go out and yell.
I saw this thing, and I definitely want to talk about what we're here to talk about, but I saw this photo online. It was a poster for a neighborhood scream at 5:00 on Fridays. And
What a great.
I was like, I want to live in that neighborhood. I mean, so
Yeah.
I don't think I could get that going in this neighborhood, but it sounded like a great
good.
idea. No, it's too quiet. They would look at me like, who is that crazy lady on the cul-de-sac? So, in my hat.
In your hat, I was going to say, the hat.
Yeah, but
that's a way to get confident.
There we go. Hey, that's what I need. Okay, so before we just chit chat, because that's exactly what we could do. So as we're talking about kind of moving and what we want to look back on in this time, and so tell me like what your take is about this time, about looking for a job or changing a career, whether that's because you have to because of what's going on, or maybe even it's just because you're realizing what's important during this time, and maybe slogging it out at the corporation isn't it for you. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on all of that?
I think we're going to see more. There have been a lot of layoffs. There has been a lot of furloughs, but I think we're going to see more layoffs like a few months from now as the impact hits. I think that this is a time that is important to kind of evaluate. If you're actively working right now, this is a time to sit back and think about, okay, am I happy with the way this is going? 6 months from now, maybe we can be back in the office setting. Do you want to be back in an office setting, or do you want to be able to work from your home office or your dining room table or whatever that looks like for you, being able to work remotely? I think a lot of businesses are realizing that they're going to be able to have more remote workers than what they really did realize before. And then in turn, they'll save on real estate, they'll save on office space and things. There is a thing about being able to collaborate in person. And I think we're missing that human connection right now, but business is business, and where the costs are, where the bottom line is how it's gonna really impact, I think. So I think understanding what it looks like for you. Do you like working remotely? Do you like being able to have the convenience to work from home and be with your kids, or have that flexibility? Or do you need the structure of a 9 to 5 where you physically go into a place? And whether you're actively working or whether you're looking for a job now, I think you need to ask yourself those questions, because you need to be able to create your wish list or your dream job checklist, so to speak. And I think, it's kind of like, even though I don't believe in this, and I did not do this, But there are those people out there that create a life partner checklist, and they have to meet all this criteria.
Right.
Well, or or even a dating checklist. If they don't meet this criteria, then it's over. And I think that you kind of need to have something like that with a job, and know what you are flexible on, and know what you're not flexible on. And yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I kind of.
No, you did. You did. I think it's really, there's a couple things that stand out there that are really interesting. And one is I've thought this for a while. So I have worked in for organizations where they very much where you have to work 9 to 5. And, in the meantime, I'm building my business on the side. And I know for a fact how productive I can be and the outreach I can have and what I can do when I'm not in the office environment. So I had a really hard time like juggling that old school train of thought that you have to be behind your desk in a 9 to 5, even though I could probably argue that I wasn't productive. It's no guessing there. I was not productive from 9 to 5. There was little chunks of little time, and that was kind of it. So I am actually, this is one thing about this time that I am loving is just, I feel like that old structure is just getting the rug yanked out from under it, right? Like, I think organizations are going to be able to see like, oh, we still were productive with our employees working remotely. And I think it's going to be hard to take that away, right? Like an organization is going to say, okay, now you got to come back into the office and you got to be here 9 to 5. And I think people are going to realize like, well, why? Why do I have to do that? If I could do the job there, why do I have to come in and now? And I feel like there's going to be this reckoning, right? Like some organizations are going to have a struggle as they're calling people back in. So it'll be interesting to watch that. And something else that you said that really strikes me is, and maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. That's what I was thinking when you were talking. I was like, is this an age thing? Because we're at an age where we feel like we can pick and choose a little bit more and create that list. Because I remember so many times just taking a job because I felt so lucky to be offered a job, right? Like I didn't even really think about how I wanted, how I was going to be treated. It was just like, oh, they're offering me a job. And so I don't know. Do you feel like that's just the sign of the times? Is it because we're of this age and we know ourselves and get to pick and choose? What are your thoughts on that? This is kind of a side thing. This is not what we were originally going to talk about, but I'm curious.
I think I think as a society, we're wanting to be more purposeful in our work. Mm-hmm. And that's a generalized statement. But I think that I'm trying to figure out how to answer that question. There are people that just they have to take any job that they can, and in today's time, I think that's a reality, and I respect that. Mm-hmm. But the disadvantage to that is, and sometimes it kind of makes me sad, is because that person may have some specific gifts and strengths that they aren't utilizing. Mm-hmm. And that also creates unhappiness. So I think today, more generally speaking, more people are focused on finding a job that they want, mm-hmm. but there is that issue that they have to work, so they'll take anything that they can get. I'm thinking back on my HR career and jobs I've had in HR, and some of them I just didn't like because of the job responsibilities, but I did take it, and I did say yes because of the experience I would gain, mm-hmm. and be able to gain that experience and take it elsewhere later. Mm-hmm. So I think that was more of my mindset. I do want to address the issue about people that might just have to find a job right now. Mm-hmm. If that is your situation, then do it. but really think about, and you'll put a link in here, or one of us will later, about a dream job checklist. But look at that and think about what it asks you questions like, what are your real strengths, your experiences, your skills that you want to utilize?
Right.
What type of salary do you really want to make? What have you learned from this COVID experience that you can take with you to another job? And there's several questions there, but I think you have to really keep looking. And there's a reason that you're in that job right now, and take that experience and absorb it, get the best you can out of it, but keep looking, and then take what your strengths are and move it to another job when you find that right job for you. But don't settle is the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I think that is that's very, very important as you know, as I'm sitting there remembering times when I just had to take the job, right? Like I was thankful to be offered a job. And, there was a time in my life where I was very thankful, or I would have been living out of my car. So remembering those times, there is a lot of difference between that time than where I am now, of course. And, for many people, but I do feel what I'm hearing you say is look at the skills that you've developed, look at your own personal strengths and traits, and maybe focus on that more than like a job title, because maybe sometimes we're just looking for a job title and not looking for what that job title entails. Does that sound
Exactly. And it's interesting that you said that, because on that checklist that I created, I intentionally did not put a title on it about what your dream job title is, because
right,
you need to look at the responsibilities and what you're doing. And there's other factors you need to look at too, but like location and salary. But what matters is what you're doing and what you're giving to society in your role. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and you want to feel good about that. I mean, so taking a job because you need to support your family is one thing, but also realizing that, okay, I can allow this to be temporary and still continue to look for another job, or I can settle and then, just let it suck the life out of you.
And that's what happens. It does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Been there.
I know you have.
Yeah. And then it's hard, right? Like it's hard to show up for your family. It's hard to show up for yourself and care for yourself. I mean, goodness, burnt those adrenal glands right out, Yeah. So, but yeah, I say we both understand that one. So, so for the people that are just in a place where, okay, I just need to have a job right now. We kind of skirted around it, but what would you say their next steps should be?
I would say have a resume that will market you. And there's a lot behind, a lot of people will go straight to the job boards and apply through the job boards, which is one tactic. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because we're in a flooded market. We're going to be flooded with more job applicants now more than ever. If you do that route, you're going to need to know how to do that. So understand what applicant tracking systems are and how keyword searches and having keywords in your resume to help you stand out in the right format is important. And I have some tools that can help somebody do it at a quick glance if they can figure that out, if they're interested in that. But there are the number one thing that I would recommend doing is network. Network on LinkedIn and network in person. Well, by phone.
Right. Yeah.
Or this way.
In as person as you can. Yeah.
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 In today's in person.
Right.
But it's important to let people know that you're looking. Let people know that you what type of jobs that you'd be willing to do. And you get the word out that way. I talked to someone recently that I was shocked. This person was looking for a job. I had no idea. This person is very involved in the community and does so much outreach and gives back. And that person's been looking for quite a while,
Right.
but not utilizing that network. And I have a feeling once that person starts utilizing the network, man,
Right.
a job will surface for. And I think that utilizing LinkedIn and, go back to people in high school, start connecting with them, ask them how they're doing in this, and let them know that you're looking for a job.
Right.
College and
Yeah.
neighbors and
Yeah.
old
So it's
coworkers.
right. So networking is more than just, we think of networking. I think we think of like, I want to network with the CEO of some company I want to work for, or a coach, would want to work alongside. But it's also like engaging your personal network, like your friends, your people, that you're in organizations with, clubs with, volunteer with, family, even. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, what would happen if you emailed 10 people a day
Mhm,
and let them know that you're looking for a job?
mhm.
Just 10 people. And you have, I mean, and you think about people from your past and your present. And if 10 seems overwhelming, just 5.
Yeah.
And let them know that you're looking and send them your resume.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Love that. Would your recommendations be different for someone who is realizing, oh, like I realize now what's important and I want to make a career shift now? Would there be anything different in what they should be doing right now, or is it about the same?
Well, I'm pro hiring a coach because um, either a career coach or a life coach, because that a coach can help them figure out what that next what they want to do if you're trying to figure out what you want to do next. And there's different tools that if they have been trained like you and I, there's certain tools that they have that they can utilize to help you figure out some of those pieces.
Mhm,
and and the powerful questions that go along with coaching sessions will help you
mhm.
come up with the right direction.
Right.
And once you have that, knowing how to market yourself, I mean, you're basically going to create a marketing campaign for yourself.
Mhm.
And networking is key, but you have to have that. You have to be able to tell your professional story in your resume and on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I'm even thinking from my perspective, you know, let's talk about what skills you have and maybe starting your own business. And, that's stuff that really lights me up. And having been there and started with I started my business actually utilizing very kind of basic administrative skills, administrative and tech skills. And I was able to leave my 9 to 5 doing that.
Mhm.
Um, and I just can't help but think, because I was a virtual assistant, I can't help but think how when our workplaces are changing, like jobs are going to be changing. And so I don't know, that gets me excited. So that's another conversation for another time. But yeah, that was just like, ooh, that might be a good conversation to have. So
Well, and if you think about it, a lot of different businesses get started in economic times like this.
yeah.
And you may be working 2 jobs at once while you're figuring it
Yeah.
out. But there's so much opportunity right now.
Mhm.
So much opportunity. And if you're, one thing that you can do if you're kind of baffled, like, okay, I'm in this job and I like what you're saying and that sounds interesting, but I really don't know what I
Right.
want to do. Start learning something. I mean, there's so many different technologies. You and I are creative people,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to have creativity in whatever we're doing. And I'm enjoying even learning the technology and stuff because there's a very creative component to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different how-tos out there now with video and all the
Oh yeah.
e-learning systems that we have that pick a program, any program, and start learning.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. And definitely too, I mean, because even when I started my own business, I still was working a 9 to 5. I mean, I still had a full-time job and I was building that on the side and was able to do that. So it can be done. And I saw a need and I saw how I could help.
Mhm.
And I saw the need because I feel like we're getting off topic. So I'm going to switch back, but I saw the need because it was what people were asking me for. Like it was something that came so naturally to me. Didn't even think twice about it. I was giving away my services. You remember that time? I was like
Yeah.
helping all these other people set up all these websites and all this stuff for them. And then it was kind of like, I'm really like putting a lot of time into this. I should start charging. And
Exactly.
maybe even you had mentioned that to me. So anyway, that's just how that can happen too. Like that is another opportunity. So really taking this time to look at, like you said, like what it is you want to do going forward.
And that's actually how I transitioned from being the recruiting in my company. People kept coming to me for resume help and LinkedIn profile help. And as a recruiter, I know what you need in a resume and what you need in a LinkedIn profile. So I transitioned my business to resume and LinkedIn profile writing, which I wanted to go deeper with it. So I took a class and I learned more about coaching and got certified there and an ICF accredited and all that. So now there's, you just build on it as you go.
Exactly.
And listen, and I like what you said, listen to what people are asking you for, because that's a need. And I also think it's a God thing personally, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely is. We've all been given these gifts and, whether that's you're being asked that personally, or maybe it's a skill that that you had in the workplace that people were, maybe it's not in your job title, your job description, but people would always know to come to you because you could whip out that Excel spreadsheet. God love you, because I don't get along with Excel at all, but I know there are people that are gifted at that stuff. And so how can you use something like that to either build upon and make your skill set greater for your job search, or maybe create a business? I don't know.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. So Staci, I know that you said you have a checklist, was a dream job checklist, not
Dream job checklist.
Okay, awesome. Where can I know that we will share the link to that, but also where can people find you online?
The best way to find me is at staciwitten.com, and it's Staci with an I. Yeah.
Which direction? There you go.
It's Staci with an I. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, no, I'm not related to Jason Witten, but
darn it.
I know. I can't get you. Well, I don't even know if there will be tickets available anyway, but if there were, I couldn't get you tickets.
Exactly. Dang it.
But staciwitten.com is the best way to find me.
Perfect. And we will have a link. I'll put a link to that and the checklist in the show notes for the podcast, and also in the description for the live that we're running in the group. So
great.
Yeah, Staci, it was just awesome. Thank you for saying yes and spending some time with me this afternoon. And we're actually having a socially distanced happy hour dinner. I don't know whatever we're calling.
Yes.
Socially distanced something where we're all going to bring our camp chairs and space out. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing people not behind a screen.
Yeah. And I even have a rain plan in case it rains.
Oh, awesome. So. Awesome. I know. I was looking at the weather and I was like, I don't care. I'm going to sit in the rain.
We'll figure it out.
Well, thank you, Staci. And thanks to everyone joining us. And if you have any questions in the Facebook group, go ahead and leave them in the comments and we'll circle back around and check on them. And yeah, thanks for
having me.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining Liz for the Midlife Schmidlife podcast. Remember, some days are never on your calendar until you put them there. Until next time.